One of the biggest UK car recalls in history is currently underway. It involves 122,000 Citroën DSCs and C3s. They were registered between 2009 and 2019. As we've been reporting, owners are sent a stop drive notice from Stellantis, that's the company that owns Citroën, saying that these cars should not be driven under any circumstances. The owners are asked to book their cars in with a Citroën dealer for an upgrade, but the scale of the recall means there are no appointments for weeks, sometimes months. Some owners have been told they'll have to wait until next year. The problem is faulty airbags that can spray out shrapnel when they activate. Now a big company of solicitors is offering to represent owners in legal action for compensation. Malcolm Lewis is a solicitor with the company, it's called Bond Turner, and Karen Welsh from Blackpool is someone who needs her car for work in the NHS and has been told not to drive it. Karen, tell us what it is that you do.
I work for the ICB Integrated Care Board safeguarding team, but I work under the serious violence duty. I cover the whole area of Lancashire and South Cumbria, so I do need my car every day to travel.
So the kind of people that you're seeing, what are they in danger of violence?
I work at a more strategic, so we attend meetings to discuss what measures we're putting in place to prevent people being put at risk of violence. So we work with the ED department, we work with all the community safety partnerships. Sorry, so your A&E and your emergency duty.
I understand. So obviously it's important work. How long now have you been unable to drive your own car for work or any other reason?
Well, for the last 2 weeks, since I opened the letter saying stop driving, I had to contact the company and they've said under no circumstances can I drive the car. I explained that I needed to drive it for work and they've said absolutely not. I asked if I could have a hire car provided by them and they said no. And they said that they would allow me to claim up to £22 a day towards travel costs, which obviously covering such a large area, it's just not doable. So I've had to pay out to hire a car myself for the first 2 weeks, but I just can't afford to keep doing that for the whole period. I got given an appointment in over 11 weeks.
Gosh, 11 weeks' time. So you'll be 11 weeks without a car.
Yes.
And that £22 a day, how far would it go? Can you explain to us why it doesn't cover it? Because it does sound quite generous, doesn't it?
Well, to hire a car, I phoned around lots of hire car companies and they were all averaging around £40 a day to hire a car. And when you think about travel, I got the train from Preston to Blackpool, which is a really short journey. And then I got an Uber home. And that cost me £21. So the idea of trying to travel anywhere else outside of my immediate area on £22 a day just isn't doable.
And you would normally be covering a big, wide distance, would you?
Yeah, so the whole of Lancashire and South Cumbria is the area that I attend meetings within that area.
Malcolm Lewis, when car makers recall cars to correct faults, do the owners have any legal rights to any kind of compensation?
Well, generally speaking, recalls aren't of this serious nature. It's unusual to have a stop drive notice recall. And there are statutory guidelines as to how companies should conduct their recalls. And this is what we're looking into at the moment, is to the legal rights that people do have to recover their reasonably incurred out-of-pocket expenses, or even loss of earnings and like, if they find themselves in that position.
So what is it that you're offering to do then for someone in Karen's situation?
Well, we are we'll be corresponding with Stellantis to seek to recover the expenses that she's incurred for hiring a vehicle, or any other losses that she's incurred, on the basis whether that be on a contractual obligation for Stellantis or under their statutory duties.
How will you make money from it?
Well, we are anybody that we or that wishes to instruct us. We would work under a conditional fee agreement, commonly known as a no-win, no-fee agreement, and we seek to recover sort of costs of our representation in the usual way under the rules of that, which would be payment of our basic fees from or by the opponent, and with some level of contribution from our client to reflect the fact that the risk we're taking we might not get paid at all.
So if there was some level of contribution from your clients, would it be the case then that you would take a cut of whatever Karen managed to recover if you were representing her?
That's the nature of a no-win, no-fee agreement. That's right, yes.
This recall by Stellantis with the stop notices for some Citroëns, it only began this summer. Now, Stellantis say they acted immediately once they heard of a change in the risk. The change that happened was that one of these airbags, when it went off in France, exploded and sprayed shrapnel. Before, that had only happened in accidents in much hotter countries. Now, Stellantis have repaired 40,000 of these cars in the UK in the last month alone, which leaves 80,000 of them left to do. They say they're focusing on the older cars first because the evidence suggests that those cars are the greatest risk. I mean, all of that sounds fair and reasonable, doesn't it?
Well, it sounds sensible to the way they're going about it to a certain degree, but problems with these airbags have been known well back into the early 2010s. There's been recall notices and stop drive recall notices around the world in various other countries now.
But in hotter countries, that's the point that Stellantis make.
Well, yes, that's fine, but we're over 6 years now since they stopped fitting these airbags because of this reason, and why it's taken 6 years to affect the recalls around the world really is something that we want answers to that question, because we feel that they should have been doing this a lot sooner, and if they had done, more to the point, they wouldn't have needed to do it on a stop drive notice. They could have just done it as a standard recall over the course of the last number of years.
There's a lot
which would mean that then people wouldn't have to, or wouldn't be put in the position that Karen's in, where she's just simply got no vehicle, and that's affecting her, doing her work, and it's other people it's affecting getting to medical appointments, or and that sort of thing.
Malcolm, there's a lot of confusion, isn't there, about where you stand even driving these cars to the dealership to be repaired if you have been told not to drive them. What is your understanding? People first of all need to speak to their insurers, because that's primarily my understanding as to what the restriction is. I don't know what the police's view is on the status of legality of the stop drive notice itself, but certainly insurers, from what we're being told, are taking a very strict view that because of safety reasons and because of the increased risks, that they will not insure these vehicles to be driven. Now, we have heard from some of the clients who instructed us that some insurers are saying, yes, we will allow you and cover you to drive to have the repair done, but others are not even allowing that. We did speak to the police about it, and they told us there's no specific offence of driving a car that's covered by one of these stop notices. But they said that if you knowingly drive your car and you were in an accident, then you could be accused of dangerous driving. So that is the best advice that we have. Malcolm Lewis from Bond Turner, Karen Welsh, thank you both for that.